All right. If anybody else comes in, we will admit them. But session number 5. Can you believe this? This is Lead with Purpose, session number 5, and this is going to be Youth at the Center. We're going to be talking about children and youth and our juniors. And as I have said previously, a lot of this is about the journey that I took when I began leading in Unit 23 and how we were able to accomplish what we accomplished. And then a lot of understanding and reading and um, like being inquisitive and just constantly having to do research and figuring out what I could do and the resources that I had, how did all of that play into? I hope I have admitted everybody. If there's somebody in there, let me just check one more. Nope, it says we have 5 on. I hope that, yeah. All right, there we go. We're good. Okay. So last week, I don't know why I'm not moving forward, you guys. There we are. Anchored in community, what we did last week, and we talked a lot about the Americanism and how we can be involved in the community and what's happening. So we talked about showing up with intention, and you have to recognize the needs around us before we could actually put our ALA programming into our communities and anywhere we have to know the need. And we talked about how to make that need or how to explore those needs within your community. And we talked about, regardless of size or budget, every unit can make a meaningful impact by asking 3 simple questions, and I recap them on the screen. What traditions, events, and civic moments already exist in our community? And how can we show up with purpose in those events? What are the needs of our veterans, the military families, the children, and even our neighbors? And then what are the gaps in safety, preparedness, and connection? Like, how can we fill them through service? The heart of that session was this message. Community impact doesn't require numbers. It requires noticing. When we pay attention and ask the right questions and serve with intention, we become an anchor of stability, hope, and unity right where we are. Our goals for today that you already know, we're going to talk about event planning for youth. We're going to look at junior mentoring and service learning, what that means, and then school and youth organization partnerships. We are empowering our children, our juniors, and our future. So this picture right here says a lot. In the middle, you can see me standing in between the 2 gentlemen, and in front of me, that is my grandson. He is a future United States Marine. He'll tell you that all day long. This soldier came back 80 years after his death. In Lynchburg, we happened to be at the right place at the right time to be able to attend the ceremony. And he learned a lot from it in sombering, humble moments. But before we began our session today, as you know, we talk about reflection and always spark some feeling and energy from within. I want to invite you into this moment. Think about the young children in your world. Maybe it's your children. Maybe your grandchildren, the students at your local school, maybe the juniors in your unit, the teenagers who show up shy, unsure, or even curious. Whether we realize it or not, all of them are watching us. They watch how we speak, they watch how we serve, they watch how we treat others. They watch how we show up when no one is keeping score. Every choice we make becomes a quiet lesson for a young leader who is learning what leadership looks like. And here in our American Legion Auxiliary, we're not just shaping programs, we shape people. We shape the next generation of servant leaders. We shape hearts that understand patriotism, purpose, and community. This session is just not going to be just about events or projects. It really is about legacy. Every single one of these lessons that we are doing, whether it was lesson 1 through 12, it's about our legacy. And today is about the little hands that will one day hold the torch that we're going to pass on. It's about nurturing confidence, courage, and character in the young leaders who will soon lead our units. Think about that. They're going to lead in our communities. And perhaps, maybe even one day, they're going to lead our nation. So I want to ask you one simple question. Who was that one person who shaped you as a young leader? I want you to take 30 seconds and think about that. It could have been a teacher, a neighbor, a coach, a church leader, a family member. But that someone believed in you, encouraged you, or even helped you to become who you are today. When you have that person in mind, you can either put a star or a heart in the chat. Or not, or you can just tell me.
Yeah, Rebecca, I'm having trouble because I'm doing it from my phone because I'm
That's
having to
okay.
get some
So
stuff done
then,
with work. Betty Ray for me. Betty Ray, is the first person I thought of. I mean, there's other people that have molded me throughout the years, but just here recently, and we're just coming off of my year's presidency. Um, she's the one that nudged me and pushed me and told me she believed in me, um, and it just really stuck. So,
well, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody else that shares as well. Um, that thing that 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 moment or that reflection of what Betty Ray instilled in you,
mhm.
who is one person that you can, moving forward from today, looking forward, who is that one person that you can share that with?
Um, Well, one that I continue to share with that I try is our previous honorary junior president, Samantha Walker.
Okay.
Um, so she still comes to me for things, and I hope that I've had an impact on her as well as other people that she's come into contact with the organization. I mean, we've got some great leaders there. I mean, Shirley's right there in her unit, and she just has some really great leaders surrounding her. And so she's one that that comes to mind right away. One that I continue to kind of nurture and support and reach out to and check on. So because it was important to me, Betty did that for me.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Who else would
Absolutely.
like to share?
I would
Anybody?
say, oh,
Okay. Go ahead.
um, our past department president, and I'm sorry, I'm tongue-tied today, Miss Laura
It's okay.
Clark. Um,
Oh,
I was struggling really hard last year, um, and she took a moment to speak with me privately and give me a lot of encouragement to kind of stick in there a little longer, and that really made a true difference. And I was able to pull through, and we had an amazing year last year in our unit, and
yeah,
I'm
you
very
did.
proud of that.
Oh, Chantel, thank you for that. Thank you.
So, Chantel, who is somebody that you can pay that forward to?
Actually, with my niece. She's getting ready to go graduate this year. She's ROTC. She's going into the military. Um, and we encourage her all the time. She's a very strong young woman. She is an auxiliary member in Berkeley Springs, actually, junior there. Um, And we're hoping that she continues. Unfortunately, she couldn't go to a girls' date because she went to Kohl's instead because of the military, which I was a little disappointed, but I know where her focus is. But she is exceeding in everything that she does. So I'm very proud of her.
Very nice. Very nice. Who else can share? I will tell you that my fourth grade teacher, Miss Sally Osinga, I had to say it like she says it, Miss Sally Osinga. She, I started my 4-H journey in fourth grade, and it was a little discombobulation at first because there were so many things way back then that they actually brought. The 4-H was in the schools, and they, I mean, it was part of, I mean, it was part of our curriculum. And she believed in me, and she told me I can do this. And that was the first year that I was in, and I took my demonstration of the waxed flower. Literally, I made flowers out of tissue paper and pipe cleaners, and I dipped them in hot wax um, with the help of my mother, because obviously, I mean, I had to heat wax on a stove, and in fourth grade, I might have got burnt. And those flowers, those waxed flowers took me all the way to the state, and I got an excellence. And it wasn't about the winning or the ribbons. It was the encouragement and the guidance that when those, I didn't have an idea. And she said, you know, what is it that you want to do? And so there was like a demonstration list, you know, they give you suggestions. And I said, well, I like this, but I also like the idea of these wax, you know, putting something in wax. And we came up with the flowers. It was her encouragement, and it's the representation of that wax flower that continues to push me to know and to teach young children that their ideas mean something. It might not be the idea that you came up with, but let them grow their ideas, and teaching them to grow those ideas, that is leadership. That's leadership in action. They are leading, you are leading them. And it's a kind of a twofold together. The reason that I shared this picture is that my grandson, yes, I am very proud of this moment. This actually, the news, we were on the news captured by this, and this was a capture from it. But if you look at the intent, look at his face. And when I talk to you and I say that they are watching everything we do, he took every bit of that in. And even here we are a year later, and he can tell you the events of that day. He's telling you what's happening, but he will tell you about the people that talked to him, that came up to him and shook his hand. And, you know, thank you for being here. He remembers those people that came to him. He said, these people didn't even know me, and they were shaking my hand and asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And when I said a Marine, then I had like 10 people talking to me. So it was part of that mentoring. I just thought this was powerful, and but to see the look on his face here, and he was so captivated by it and just took it all in. So our youth, our juniors, they are taking it all in. So why youth at the center? When I titled this Youth at the Center, why? Well, children and youth, it's not just another ALA program. It's the pipeline for leadership, patriotism, and even community involvement. And this is one of my favorite bullet points here. It's your junior members, my junior members, our junior members. They're not just future leaders. They're current leaders who need opportunities. Like I said, children watch what we do. The juniors mirror how we lead. When we mentor well, we build a generation that proudly carries the mission forward. If we are complaining, and if we are negative, and we are not getting along with our American Legion family, do not expect your juniors to do the same. That it's not going to happen. They're going to do what you're going to do. You're setting the tone, you're setting the energy for the future for them to lead. And I will tell you, if you want your unit to be thriving, say in 5 years from now, start with your youth today. If you don't have a youth program, start with one. Unit 23 started with 3 under 6 years old, 3 under 6. Now we have 8 under 17. So we bumped up to where we have them. But we started with 3 under 6 and we made a junior program happen. It can be done. All right. I get excited. Can you tell? I just get a little bit like amped up. But I had to understand the 2 youth lanes, and that's why I've titled this the way I did, Understanding the 2 Youth Lanes. Under the children and youth programs, I put 2 columns and how do I separate or how do I understand these? So I had children and youth and juniors. Under the children and youth, I wrote school partnerships, youth leadership development, even though we're developing our junior leaders in the junior program and teaching them the ALA mission and service, you still want to instill leadership development even in the children and youth programs that you're doing in the schools. Child advocacy, are we speaking out for what's right for the children in our communities? Are we, doing legislative efforts? What are we doing there? Community safety, talking with our EMS to let's see what are the needs? How can we teach these to our children and youth within our communities? Patriotism education. Cannot say that enough. You have so many opportunities that you can get into the schools and do that. Youth-focused service projects. So what are we doing and then I go back to the assessment, the needs assessment. And when you are looking for what do our youth need in our communities, how can we fill that need? What can we do to assist that need? Somebody's already doing it. Remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just you complement it and work alongside them. So over on the junior side, it was teaching the leadership skills again, understanding the ALA mission and the service. What are we doing? How can we show the juniors how to run our unit? Getting them involved in our community, and then traditions and patriotism, and then giving them a sense of identity within the ALA family. What are you doing to let them feel like they are a part and they're not just a junior? They are part of our ALA family. So part of planning for our youth and community and school focused events, Jane came up with, it's had this bookmark that's been in her book for eons of years. She said it's old and we're going to revamp it, but we're going to, like we talked about that last week, and I already had a couple of you say you wanted in on that, to make that patriotic bookmark, but we could turn that into a workshop for elementary schools. And these are ideas, and some of these things are already happening, some of them are not, but these are things that are on the planning board. Have a Military Kids Appreciation Day, and where you're identifying the military children in your communities, and then have an appreciation day for them. Like have maybe like a tea or have some peanuts and popcorn and have a movie, something that you can do appreciation day. Think out of the box there. Have a little Patriots parade. I love this idea to have students and the younger classes to come dressed as their favorite hero in the military, and then have a parade through the hallways, and having everybody clapping and just building that energy for them. It's mimicking the heroes of today. The Race Across America coloring contest. We have one currently going. It's a little late for you to get one started for this year, but you can think about it for next year. I'm really excited about this. We partnered with every elementary school in our county, and they are coloring wreaths and talking about what a veteran means to them. And then we are going to present them with gift cards. We have winners for each we did K through 3 and then 4 through 6, and each one of those schools, and we're excited to share those on our Wreaths Across America Day. The flag etiquette classes, I know that many of you are already doing them. Just continue to do those. Get out there, because every time you put a flag in that child's hand, I mean, you're instilling the Americanism for each one of them. Here's some fun community events. You could have a kids service carnival, and I love this idea. I love these projects. I've seen them on social media across the country. Each booth is a mini service project. So it's a carnival. The kids are coming to a carnival, but they're doing something for either the community, the veterans, or the military, active military and their families. It's a service project. Maybe like we did a mini one of these at our Cookies with Santa last year, and we had playing cards and then coloring cards that were going overseas. We had veteran stockings that we were stuffing with multiple different items in there, but it was a project, and it happened within the Cookies with Santa, and then they got to decorate a cookie with Santa and get hyped up on all the sugar and enjoy the day. It was fun. Have a hero art show, like have the children paint their hero and then put them on display. And that hero to them could be a hometown hero. It might be their mom, their dad, whomever it is, it's a hero. It's their hero. A kids safety day with police, fire, and EMS. Invite your fire and EMS to bring a helicopter, to bring fire trucks out. Let them touch them. Let them climb in them. Get them take pictures with them. Get them feeling comfortable. Build that relationship. We had at our block party, we had the helicopter come in, and the kids got to climb all over it. Unfortunately, this year it was too windy. The helicopter couldn't land, but it did last year, and it was a big hit, and the kids couldn't wait for it to come back. The backpack buddy drives. In all of your communities, there are backpack programs. There are backpacks that have food that go home with children on weekends, because they know that children are, we've got insecurities everywhere. We also have, there's a backpack program where it can have necessities for like older, all right, an example of that may be a high school girl maybe need sanitary items. There's just so many different ways that you can pack a backpack that can fill a need in your community. You just have to know what that need is. Events led by juniors. I cannot tell you, you give them a voice, give them a job, give them ownership. They will take it and run. This young lady right here, pictured, she did treats for the troops while the troops were furloughed. We can share this picture now. Her mom gave me permission, and obviously she's one of our youth, but she collected treats for troops. The last time she did this, about 5 years ago, she was little, during COVID, when she had collected 80 pounds. So when she told us she was doing this, we're like, let's get her to 100. Well, we got her the community stepped in, and several of our community partners that we built relationships with this last year, they put in, she had 129 pounds. 129 pounds. She did that all on her own. Of course, yes, we shared it. We gave shared her what the project she was doing out. And then she was able to, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by a piece of paper coming in here. She was able to disperse the 129 pounds by community efforts, by community partnerships that, we shared what she was doing, and people wanted to be a part of it. So give junior-led service projects. When they lead them, you run with it. Junior
Rebecca,
officers, Yes.
Rebecca, can I
Yes.
stop real quick?
Yes.
Just so you know too, people might not know this. Shelby also was a Girl State citizen and ran for governor,
Yes.
and ran a really great race and just with poise, and that's, you know, you just never know. You never know who these people are and what their backstory is. So she's a very lovely young lady and a huge inspiration, and it's going to be a wonderful leader someday. So I just wanted to let everybody know that if they didn't know, she was a Girl State citizen too. So
Yes, she is, and she is actually going to be a she's actually
counselor.
going to WVU,
Oh, is
and
she?
she's already committed, and she's going into the law program. She's pre-law, and then she is going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, she's
Um,
great.
and the other thing that will tell you that Shelby is working with me right now on, we are going into the schools. We have 3 high schools in our county, and we are going in the week after the week they return from break, and we are doing a presentation on Girl State to every junior class in our county. We are looking forward to that because we gave the reins to Michelle and to Shelby to be able to be the lead on the presentation, and we are supporting them. And that's an example again of collaboration. So we're letting them run with it, and we're going to support it.
That's great. It's great.
The let your junior officers run a meeting. Help them to be a part of it, not just all right. We all love when the littles ring the bell, but the older juniors like to be able to lead something, and you could give them something. You can give them a prayer. The chaplain can guide right beside them and help them to do that. They can lead our pledges. They can do the program report for the juniors. Let them give them a space on your agenda for a junior report, not just us doing the junior like we would do like our like what's happening with our juniors, but let them give the report about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Um, a junior ambassador apprentice program. I put that in there because our juniors are our ambassadors, and you could give them. We have a little Miss Poppy, and she's going around, and it opens doors. We're thinking about doing a actual Little Miss Poppy um, princess program where we're gonna nurture those youth, the juniors in that program, and talk about all things ALA, and then hopefully we can get more members from that. Cards for Veterans Day led by the juniors. That's a thing that the juniors could go out and they make the cards, and they're the ones saying, all right, you senior members, we need you to do XYZ. We need you to do this many cards. And then of course they're going to need us to help deliver them. That again, these are just some examples. Mentoring junior members into leaders. How are we doing that? What are we doing to make that happen? So mentorship is modeling. Like I said, they're watching you lead, but include them. And they want to be trusted with responsibility. Even though they might, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, they really want that opportunity. Ways that you can mentor juniors are give them a junior officer role. How many of you do have junior officers? Anybody? All right. We do have on the department level, and it's a great way for them to be involved. But it definitely on the department level, they only see each other a couple times a year. Like give in your units when you are creating your junior programs, give them um, honorary officer roles. Give them the prayer, the welcome, the pledge. I love this that you pair a junior with a senior member so that the senior members can share their wisdom and their knowledge with their juniors. Allow the juniors to plan a service project, which we've talked about. Give them a badge, a sash, or a lanyard that acknowledges them as a junior leader. If you have a junior leader, get them a badge that, the engraved badges that emblem sales, they're $9.99. I can say less than $10 by 1 penny, but I guess we can't say that anymore if the penny is getting retired. Anyway, leadership lessons to teach them how to run a meeting. And if they're involved in your meetings, they are seeing it. Make sure they get a copy of the agenda too, so they can write notes. Teach them to volunteer with confidence. Like, let them take ownership. How to speak in front of a room. Give them opportunities, even if they only have a minute to talk about whatever is going on in their school, or something, a project that they have coming up. Teach them what the ALA stands for and the meaning of service and patriotism. Do you have any questions as of this point? Man, y'all are a great group of students. Everybody's taking it all in. Leadership is not taught only in the classrooms. It's taught in kitchens, meeting halls, parades, events, and the small moments of service. When you're in the galley or the kitchen and you're chopping potatoes and you are having those potato chopping conversations, and your youth are around, or your juniors are around, what do the conversations look like? Are they positive? Are they uplifting? Are they building one another up? You want to think about, even potato chopping conversations have an impact on those juniors and our youth. So make sure that they are uplifting, they're positive, they are meaningful. Potato chopping. Think of that, potato chopping. I can do that
I'm
again. Potato
thinking,
chop.
I'd like to interject here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm thinking about our juniors that acted as escorts at the quilt presentation on our Veterans Day dinner. That was a real good experience for them, I believe.
Yes. So what Jane is talking about, on our Veterans Dinner, we partnered with the Quilt Guild, and they presented we had 28 veterans to receive quilts this year, and they were escorted from their seats to the podium and to the picture area, where they were wrapped in the veteran was wrapped in their quilt. Well, our youth are little, and I say they are little. They're
Littles.
like 8, 7, and 6. And they escorted each veteran up, and they stood there. They waited for them to be wrapped. Then they touched them, or they walked back with them, whether we were praying over them when they got back, or they were right there with them. And it was it was a great experience for them. And thank you for bringing that up, Jane. But again, everybody talk about potato chopping, the potato chopping conversations. Can everybody say potato chopping?
Potato chopping.
Just remember that. That's just an example. Hopefully I made you smile with that one. So, service learning blends a lesson, a hands-on project, and a reflection. So I'm going to give you an example of that. The Veteran Story Hour. So the veterans could come and maybe have that you could read a story, or the veterans can read a story to them, and then the juniors would write a thank you card to that veteran based on what they learned. So if the veteran comes in and talks about all of his experience, or a specific experience, and then ask the juniors to write a thank you letter to that veteran, and you can do this within your unit. Your flag etiquette lessons, your juniors are going to demonstrate to younger students. Allow the olders to teach the young. And even if, say you have 12, 13, 14-year-old juniors, take them to the kindergartners and let them teach the flag etiquette class based on what they know. Now, of course, you would be there to oversee and to guide and help, but give them that opportunity to do it. And you could visit a nursing home and then ask the juniors like to create cards for the veterans that they're going in to see. And again, these are all things that you can do with permission, with the parents. Parents come along, everybody, they love veterans or anyone in, even in an assisted living or a nursing home, when they may not have family, they may not have visitors, and you could be that one visitor that makes a difference for them. And service, when you think about service learning in a junior, it's going to build confidence, it's going to give them a purpose, it's going to give them a better understanding of what we're doing as the senior leaders out. And it also identifies us again back in the community, and our civic organizations are taking note of what we're doing. So some ideas to bridge generations. You can adopt a veteran program where juniors visit one veteran monthly. And I'm a mumsy, so I said create a Mumsy and Me craft day with ALA members. So you bring your mumsy or your grandma, your granny, your mamaw, you could bring the papaw, the Les Paul, the pops, the everything, but you have a craft day, so make it specific. So like Jane, we could craft a poppy, like out of some sort of material where we have to glue it or nail it or something. But just make it happen and involve the memberships. You could have an intergenerational storytelling night where you have grandparents, veterans, or you have children where they're telling their own stories. Last night, I had a Friendsgiving with a lovely friend one of my bestie friends, and her grandson was giving me. He said, "I want to say 5 things," and I'm like, "Okay, 5 things." So I held him to 5 things, but he told me 5 different stories, and like 30 minutes later, his parents were like, "Gosh, you have the patience of Job." And I'm like, he's sharing his experiences and his stories. And then he asked, "Well, what are your 5 things?" So that was fun to have a child want to share so much. And he's only 7 years old. So that was great for a 7-year-old to talk for 30 minutes. But his stories were very interesting, and he added a lot of compelling moments. Let juniors interview members for the unit history. We had Point Pleasant Live interview our veterans for Veterans Day, and they did a beautiful presentation of that. It was a video montage, and they asked the veterans questions, and I thought that was, I mean, hands down, yes, we were blessed to be the recipient of that project for and create that collaboration with Point Pleasant Live and our unit. It was awesome. The veterans read aloud events. Let the veterans go in and read a book, and encourage them to do that. But when juniors and seniors serve side by side, something magical happens. Yeah. Agreed. So people said, how do you partner with the schools and the organizations? First of all, you need to do a assessment of what, or just do like an inventory of what you have available. And you've got principals, counselors, art teachers, FFA, FHA projects, student councils, the junior ROTCs, the choirs, the band directors. Those are all people that you can partner with. Organizations such as Girl Scouts, 4-H, Boys and Girls Clubs, church clubs, after-school youth groups. There are so many ways that you can partner with them. And people say, well, how do you do it? Well, the first thing you have to do is a simple introduction of an email of who you are. You could do an email, you could do a card, you could just do drop by flowers or cookies and just leave a note of who you are. And you got to offer them one starter idea. And I'll go back to a coloring contest. We'd like to offer you a coloring contest where we're going to give a gift card for $15 or 10, whatnot. Just a starter, just one starter idea. And that one starter opens the doors for many more to come. And I will tell you, that's how we did it last year. And now we are sought after asking, and they call us and say, this is what we need. And that's the relationship. That's what you wanted to build. You got to ask, though, you have to ask that question. What do your students need? How can we help? And when you say, how can we help? Not you should be doing this or you should be doing that. You're asking them, how can we help you? Complement what they're doing. And then you have to follow up consistently. And then once something happens, you celebrate the results. And I know that there are many of us, and I know that you have this thought that, when you do something, you don't put it, you're not looking for the pat on the back or the celebration. In the case of our organization, you want to celebrate your results publicly. You want to do the the press release. You want to make it exciting, because that's how people see what you're doing, and how you can make a bigger impact is because they want you to be a part of their efforts and what they're doing. It's not about you seeking the pats on the back because you are publicly saying this is what we've done. It's because the impact that we are measuring that makes a difference from our local level all the way to Washington. And we want to make that impact, but we want to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to be known as carrying out our mission and aiding and supporting our communities, our veterans and their families, and active military. I get excited. So here we are. Up next, can you believe that the next one next week, that will be number 6, and we are halfway through this series. I could not believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, we are almost halfway through. And like, what am I going to do after we're done? I guess we'll have to do something else exciting. But do you have any questions or comments to add? This is your turn to talk. Go ahead, Shanta.
One thing I would just mention is something that I found that we tend to forget often is not only, and I'm not saying bragging, but definitely get our word out there. What we're doing is to be sure that we thank those that we're partnering with, because so often we forget to thank them. And when cards and things go out super late, sometimes the thank you doesn't hit home as well as if we thank them immediately. Thank them on social media. Send a simple thank you card. It goes a long way when you're coming back to partner with them again in the future, because they know that you appreciate that they opened up and gave you an opportunity.
Exactly. And the appreciation of them, that can even go further. You send that card, and what we did, like I've told you, we created our year-end meeting is our year-end awards and our community appreciation. And we invite every single person that aided and helped us or partnered with us. We invite them in, and we appreciate them, and we presented them with certificates. And I've seen those certificates hanging in the businesses and on the walls of some of the people in their offices that we have given to. And so they're there. And that's an advertisement for us all year long for years to come. Laura.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to add is that just to make sure, if you are in the school, like if you're doing a contest, obviously you're just dropping off information. But if you're going actually into the schools, and this is just a reminder of everybody, not everybody requires it, but there is a lot of schools that require background checks. So be aware that may have to happen if you're wanting to go physically into the schools, just because of the world we live in now. So just keep that in mind, that if you're wanting to do something, there may have to be some planning if you're going to go physically into the schools. Just be careful on your timing.
We have had the instances where they will actually give you that in advance. Like
Right.
when you're negotiating like what you want to do, they're going to say, okay, this is fine. We can do XYZ, but you're going to need to do background checks, or you have your fingerprints on file, that kind of thing. They'll be upfront with you, but just be aware though, that if they do that, you will have to comply, or you won't be able to follow through with the program.
And some of them aren't as strict, but there are some you'll run into.
And I will tell you that you can host a contest, like a coloring contest.
Mhm.
That doesn't require you to go in. But you like the teachers would disperse and whatnot, and then they give you the papers, you judge them, and then you just deliver back to the school the winnings, those type of things. I mean, there are some things that you could do. Don't get discouraged if you know, like if they do say you have to do XYZ and you don't have enough time to do it, just pivot and then figure out a way that you could let the teachers do the disbursement, but you're still partnering. Don't
Yep.
throw in the towel automatically.
Yep.
Yeah, great point, Laura. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
One other point before we finish, I know this is something Kelly reminds us often, is to make sure we do have consent for any photos of children, because
Yes.
obviously there's a big liability there as well.
And I suggest that each year, each new year, when the juniors come to the meetings, that you give the parents the form and go ahead and fill that out. Even though, like, for us to be able to use those pictures, but during public events, like, so if it's a public, like a parade or like we had our trunk or treat, that was a public event that we were a part of. Even though it was a public event, I still asked permission to take the picture, and we had forms on hand at the event so that if we captured something really cool, we got the parents' permission so that we could use it for ALA purposes.
That's a great idea. And you can get any of those forms. I think there's consent forms online, but like you can just Google a consent form too, as long as
Yes.
you just have it written.
And if you have them on hand at your events, even though it might be a public event, where public events people share, and that's just the way it is. But we want to maintain the integrity of the ALA and
Right.
protect us. Are there any other questions or comments? Oh, y'all are great. Shirley, you were quiet.
I know, but I had a lot of shopping I had to do this morning, so I was resting at the same time.
Oh, bless you. Well, I'm glad you got your shopping in and then you were able to get online with us.
I was happy to do that.
No. Well, I am going to let me see if I can do this without killing this whole thing.
Hey, Katie here. Sorry, I was trying to multitask and work, but I was listening, so I wasn't chiming in much.
That's all right. We're glad you're here, Katie.
I enjoyed it. Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Well, if you need me in the meantime, before next week, you can contact me. Here's my number. I do respond to texts, so I'll respond to phone calls. And again, my email for the department is leadership@wvaux.org. If you don't have anything else, I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your week and enjoy your Thanksgiving and your family events and family time. And if you're traveling, please be safe. And I will see you all next week.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
And to all, good night.
Thank you.
And to all,
Bye-bye.
good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.